Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the first episode of B and J at the movies. There is an and in between.
Yeah, very important.
Very important.
Yeah.
So
So B as in Bernardo. Yeah. So and
J, John.
Yeah.
We are avid movie lovers. We watch a lot of movies and consume a lot of popcorn.
Exactly.
And we decided, hey,
Why don't we talk about it?
Yeah.
On camera.
On camera.
Yeah.
So, we thought might as well take our awkwardness in front of camera
And provide it to the world. It's a gift
It is.
that everyone should have access to.
exactly.
Right.
You didn't ask for it, but
There you go. So for this first edition, we want to talk about the 1917 by Sam Mendes.
yeah.
Right. Just came out.
So Oscar nominated,
Been Oscar nominated. BAFTA as well.
BAFTA nominated,
Yeah.
and I believe Golden Globes winner, right?
Yeah.
Sam Mendes.
Yeah.
So, it's on the war trail, and it's actually doing really well, and it looks like it's going to pick up a lot of gongs
Yeah.
at the oncoming Oscars.
And it's just an amazing piece of cinema.
Yeah,
It's
so before we get into that, let's give them a quick blurb about what the movie's about.
yeah. So it's about these two soldiers, a sergeant and a lance corporal,
Yeah.
that got sent into a mission to warn the other battalion or
Yeah.
platoon. I get mixed up on this thing. That the attack that they are actually planning to launch in, I think, like 16 hours or 18 hours is actually a trap. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
And so they are tasked with this mission that
an
takes them
impossible mission.
an impossible mission, because not only do they only have 16 hours to complete it, or whichever number of hours it is. So this is already morning, and they have to deliver before the dawn of the next day,
Exactly.
right?
And across enemy lines.
Across enemy lines.
Exactly, yeah.
They are not sure if the Germans have left it or not.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of tense scenes in the movie. Also, I think one of the motivators for the sergeant is that his brother is on the other platoon.
Yes, I guess that's a key factor.
Right.
in
It's
the
it's
story.
it's something like, I need to do this. Like, I think they picked him
They picked him solely
solely
brother,
because of that,
yeah.
right?
So I think maybe let's jump into what we like. We also start off a bit positive.
Yeah.
So
Just careful. Spoilers alert. If you haven't seen this movie yet, we're going to be talking about
Yeah.
the stuff that happens in the
this
movies.
is your last chance to jump out because we're going to spoil it
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
So positives, like what did you like about this movie?
I came to this movie, and what I usually do, I just watch the first trailer. I don't tend to watch repeating trailers,
Right.
because I think it kind of like lose a little bit. So I watched this first trailer. Thought, okay, this is an amazing movie. I'm a big fan of war movies as well. And so I came to it knowing roughly what it was about, in terms of it is just, so they have this mission, they need to do it. And as the movie starts, and I realize it's just one shot,
Yeah.
I know it's like, oh, Birdman.
Yeah.
So it's like it's amazing. It's very natural and subtle, the way that they do the cuts, and it's just I don't know. I just like, I kept looking for the cut. I kept looking for it. Like, okay, so here's when I'm gonna cut. Here's when I'm
It
gonna.
was seamless.
It was seamless.
I have to add to that. I think that is one of the things that I absolutely adored about this. It's not many films do it.
Yeah.
I think Birdman was like one of the movies that did it, and also God of War,
Yeah.
the PS4 game, also did one shot. But the one thing I loved about this was not only was it hard to even tell when they ever did any cuts or any editing, it was the fact that it felt like you were learning the things that was going to happen as soon as they were as well.
Yeah.
And it almost, in a way, felt like you were reading a first-person novel,
Yes.
but actually watching it. And
Yeah.
I thought the way that they were able to capture that
Yeah.
was sensational.
Yeah.
It's like it just left you constantly thinking what's happening, what's going to happen next.
True.
Yeah. Like,
True.
You know,
And I also like, because you sort of, as you mentioned, like, you're learning with them, but it's also like real time.
exactly.
So like it's it's been half an hour in the movie. It has been half an hour on this character's life.
Exactly.
Like so,
Yeah.
so it starts. They're both like taking a nap in the grass in this grassy field, and they go called in. They strut about talking about breakfast and like, oh, I'm hungry. I can't wait to get back home. Blah 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 blah. Like 10 minutes later, these guys are actually like going under barbed wire and like getting the hand inside that German. Just like, oh, I was like, ooh.
But the one thing I did love is like usually just watching people walk from one destination to another is something that's quite boring. Right?
I mean, like Lord of the Rings. That's another movie. Yeah, true.
Just the fact that this movie and just the camera, you never, because if they were looking at Schofield or Blake, if the camera was, you never knew what the other person was doing.
Yes,
There
yes.
were so many things that happen outside the camera. So
Yes.
just like shout and then it will like pan over.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
something happened off camera. But because it's one shot,
Yeah.
it's like it's so good.
True. Like you're most of the time you're following both of them, and there are very rare occasions where the camera just has one of them. One just have one of them on camera, right? And then one of those moments, like the pivotal moment of the movie, is like they are at this farm.
Right.
And they see this dogfight going on. So like two British airplanes against one German.
Yeah.
The British shut down the German. It crashes right next to them.
Yeah.
And they decide to remove the German pilot of it. Right. So like and then I don't know if you want to get into that,
Yeah.
but.
Okay, yeah, I think we should. We've already warned.
Well, there are
Spoilers.
spoilers. Oh, exactly. Yeah. So you've been warned. And
Should've
that,
won.
yeah, so there's this discussion, this quick discussion, if they should help the fallen soldier or not. And they decide to do. One of them go to grab water.
Right. Yeah.
And then the camera follows him. And all of a sudden you hear this commotion.
Scream off camera.
And the camera pans like together with
him,
the Lance Corporal. And then you see that the sergeant just got stabbed by the German.
Yeah.
And then it's like, shit! Like, no! What? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's...
That was fantastic.
That was tense.
It was.
And then here's the thing, like it's one of those moments. So the development of that was tense, but when he's walking off to get water, you don't really think about
It's
it.
like a nothingness part of the movie, right? You
Exactly.
They're just going to give him water and then.
Yeah.
Like so, for that moment just to turn into such a pivotal part
Yes.
of the movie,
Yeah.
it was just like at that point I was like, okay, like I just like rolled up my sleeves.
Yeah,
and
so
I was
nothing's
like,
gonna happen. It's
Yeah,
like,
like-
so it's time to unwrap that chocolate.
It's like, now, like I cannot know. I don't know what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
And the way that you directed this movie,
Yeah.
is going to keep me guessing, and I'm in on this. And it was just like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Throughout. But the one thing I did like was, initially I thought it was going to be like something I called a tale of two, right? When it's seen this a lot in The Last of Us, the new God of War, Logan movie, where a more older person that's probably been through it a bit more, a bit jaded, is on a quest with a younger person that hasn't seen it all and
Yeah.
still believes in things. And then the older person kind of gets their humanity again through the younger person. And I
Yeah.
thought that was what we're going to see, right? And in that one moment of him getting stabbed by the German, it just completely threw that out.
Yeah.
And it just became a different movie. And I was like, thank you, because I thought that's exactly what we were going to go down. And the fact that he didn't do that
Yeah.
was like amazing to me.
But even like looking at through this perspective, there's also like the roles were a little bit switched in that sense. So like the corporal actually had more experience
Yeah.
than the sergeant, right?
Exactly,
So
yeah.
he had the medal that he switched for a bottle of wine because
Yeah.
he was thirsty, and like so that there's like this switch of the roles of who is the elderly more like experienced and who, right, like he has like a lower patent and everything, but yeah, and just like talking about dance, there are two scenes in this movie that like I was ready to jump out of the chair. So the first one is when they when they got to the German trench, and they found their dormitory, quasi like 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 the bunk beds.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was just like it goes from a playful moment to like this entire scene, like as they are walking through the bunk beds, and you're just like, oh my god, there's a crowd hidden there somewhere. Like
Yeah.
there's a German guy that's hiding there somewhere. And it's gonna, and then you kind of like relax a little bit, and then freaking rats.
It's the rat.
It's like even the rats are bigger than ours. It was.
I have to agree, like it was like a jovial moment, right, when he was comparing the bunk beds to like
Yeah.
the structure. They're like, oh wow, like the Germans built this and
Yeah.
everything, and it went from just like two, like essentially kids, right? They're like, they must be like in their early 20s, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Just like
Goofing
taking it in,
around.
goofing it around and
Yeah.
stuff, and it just like
In a
that.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like there's no. So there are two sort of like scare jumps, and you don't get enough time to recovery from the first one, and the
Yeah.
second one. So these guys are just walking around, and one of them, the Lance Corporal, finds like a booby trap, like there's a wire on the floor,
Yeah.
and then he has like, stop, like don't do anything, and then you're like, oh my god, what's happening? He says, there's a booby trap. I was like this bag, like this huge rat just like fell from the ceiling. And it's like, oh my God. And then they're like, no, no, no. So the rat just like triggers
Yeah.
triggers the entire bomb. And then it's just like,
That was amazing.
that was amazingly shot. And like, like it stands.
One thing I loved was how they were able to, even in like their journeys of like when they're going down that massive crate and it had the dead bodies in it, right?
Yeah.
And the camera kind of pans back and they're kind of walking on the edge, and then it kind of shows a bit of the landscape, and then even like in the front of the camera there's still like dead bodies and like a rat on top of a dead
Yeah,
body in the
yeah.
shot. And it's like every shot, they never wasted a shot.
Yes. Yeah. Like
And that was
they
something
couldn't. It was just 2 shots.
Yeah. You have to do it. It's one
Yeah,
shot, right?
yeah.
You can't waste it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, and another thing that I like to go on, my second point of like what I really loved was the lighting.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like this was some of the smartest lighting I've seen, right? In the scene where he's running through the desolate town.
Yeah, yeah. So like he wakes up and it's night because like as we said, there are two. There's one like clear cut on this. It's so like he finds this German soldier, sniper, and they shoot each other, and then he falls back and passes out, and that's the end of the first cut. That's the first cut. So then when he wakes up, he'd been passed out for a couple of hours. It's already night out.
Yeah.
And and that's I know exactly what we're talking about, and it just it's
With the flares are
yeah. So the flares are coming up, and you see this change, like the shadows, like the entire city sort of becomes a character in the movie as well.
Right.
Right.
And it's just the way that the lights were changing at the trajectory of the flares in the air.
Yeah.
And just lit up other parts of the city, the
Yeah.
town. They did that in such a smart way that characters were being revealed in
Yeah.
the dark and the shadows
Yeah.
of the flares. And I just thought that added to the suspense. It added to like the immersion, and I just thought like at that period I was just like, Sam Mendes, take a bow. Like
No, this guy, like it was an amazing piece of work, and it's just really exciting.
Yeah.
It is.
And I think I am now a fanboy of Sam Mendes, and I want to go through his
Like a filmography,
just
like
like binge watching.
no, yeah, I know what you mean. It's just like such a masterpiece. Like this, even when he jumps out of the bridge and the camera follows him, and like they have the same it's like the camera is attached to him. Like you and it's confusing. Like he's in the water and all of that. It was quite something. And again, you have this seamless transition, like as it was just one shot.
And one thing I want to give the production team really like big props for is that they've been able to, so like behind the scenes, like they have like people running with the cameras.
Yep.
And then at particular times, they'll take the camera and connect it to a rig that's on like a bike or a car, and then that will continue
Yeah.
the one shot. And they literally had to do like test runs in like places where they've kind of specced out the place that has the same distance as the actual set,
Yeah.
so that they knew exactly beat for beat how they had to move around to make sure that the people were not in shot and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that amount of dedication to the craft,
True.
to the art, is something that we have to commend, and it really showed
True.
when you watch the movie.
True. Yeah.
So enough of us fanboying over this. Drooling
It's like,
movie.
yeah. Sorry.
What didn't you like?
Those are tough questions, right?
Yeah.
I don't. So there's this one scene that we already talked about it, like when the sergeant gets stabbed, but then all of a sudden this entire platoon just shows up, like the guys are just going through one place or the other, and like he hitchhikes with them,
Yeah.
and everything, and it felt weird. You know, and then it's just like, oh, we saw the smoke and we decided to come and see where, like in that time, like they would have heard. I feel like they would have heard the dog fight. Like they would know that there was a dog fight. They would heard a crash.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that, like it didn't take that long for them to show up. And then you look at it. There's like a jeep. There are like 2 or 3 trucks, and
Like people had time to get out and
be
pee.
exactly. It felt like kind of a weird moment.
Yeah.
And I think that would be one of the things that they didn't quite sit well with me. But again, it's just like this short moment that, because at that point you're like, okay, shit, like the map is ruined. It's all bloody. Like he can't read the map. Also, that's another reason why the sergeant got picked, because he was good at reading maps.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, the map is ruined. He can't read the map. Like you're lost at that moment. You're at a loss, and you're like, okay, what happens now? And then like sort of like a miracle that happens.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's I mean, yeah. I don't know how he could have done it different.
That's a very good pick for like the one thing you disliked.
Alright.
The one thing I wouldn't say I disliked, but the one thing that
Oh, you can ask me what I disliked and then say like, I
Okay.
don't really disliked.
masterpiece. What are you talking about?
Set me up.
Sam Mendes, he's the
Oh, jeez.
I felt like at times it felt very video gamey. In a way that there was like so many like Naughty Dog set pieces, like the helicopter breaking through and everything, which was a fantastic moment and everything. But it was just kind of like coincidental things happening, like him just happening to get milk and then
Yeah.
It was just like that was like, oh come on man, that's like very side quest.
He needs milk. It's
Yeah.
like, oh wait,
Oh, yeah.
I just got milk.
Yeah, there was the last cow alive. Yeah, that happened to be milked by a notorious person. We never knew who milked the cow.
Yeah. So here's another thing. Like when they first arrived at the trench, they roll over this bucket full of ash. That's still that there's still some embers in there, so it's still hot. So they know like, oh, they're not far away.
Exactly.
And let's say you're a German soldier and just walk. I mean, like, yeah, I could kind of see it happen, because then there's this big explosion where they trip the bomb.
Yeah.
And they get out of it, but they don't see, like, how far could they be, right?
It's especially the ambers did not look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how far could the German army be,
Exactly.
right? And it's, I don't know, like it's something that didn't really bother me, but it was like when you mention like this sort of like things happening, that I think that's one of them also, because you mentioned like the cow that got milked and someone left the milk there and it was still like drinkable.
Exactly.
Right? Like how long would it take?
How did he know to dip his hand in, right, and know that okay, that's drinkable?
No, I think it's like, oh, it's
not
like
toxic, right?
I don't, yeah, like there's no
Yeah.
fat on top or whatever. But yeah, so but it's kind of like coincident, like.
It was a perfect storm of like everything happening to get that guy to that point, right? And
Yeah, like the river that takes him to the
Exactly.
that scene, him getting out of the river.
with the bloated body.
Oh my God! Like there's this guy with the tongue that looks like he swallowed a ball.
Yeah.
That he has like the purple tongue.
That was really well done, especially like when he was climbing over the body, that you felt it.
You felt it exactly, like you felt his disgust.
Yeah.
Like how like can it be over? Like please be over.
This movie is so good. We've gone from negatives right back to positives.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. It's yeah, but it's I mean it's sort of one of those. At points, it felt like one of those video games where the path is clear, determined.
Yeah, it's like a linear game.
A
Right?
linear game,
Yeah.
like oh, you can't go across the sidewalk, but like
Yeah.
there's a, because and they sort of explain it. I feel like on the trenches, right after they get out of the dorm, and then they see all these busted up weapons,
Yeah.
and then it's like they wanted us to go in there,
Yeah.
so because they blocked all the other ways. And you look at them, it's like, dude, you just climbed something very similar like a few meters ago.
Exactly.
Like, why can't you climb this?
Exactly.
And then it's like, oh, there's an entry here, and then they just like they go in there.
Just go over it, right?
It's like you just climbed this.
Exactly. You didn't even attempt to climb this.
Yeah.
You go in through a dangerous entrance where somebody could be there with a gun.
Yeah,
And there's
yeah,
only two of you. Like, why would you take that risk?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
Just like climb over it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But we're nitpicking.
yeah,
But-
yeah.
but-
It was a very entertaining movie. It was a very well produced. Everything like from the lighting that you mentioned to the story to the cutting to the editing, like everything just felt like a point of like, man. So when it first started, and I think there is one shot, like one of the shots is when they wake up and go towards the general, and like when they enter the general, because it gets dark and everything, it's easier to cut, and I think
Yeah.
that's what they did, because that's something they did on Birdman as well.
Yeah.
So there's a scene when she's at when he is at the ceiling, and then he goes inside the building and gets dark, and that's when they do the cut. But and then it's like I just thinking like in terms of like the acting, like they act, they memorize the script and they act it for I don't know like maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And we've been rambling here for I don't know like 15 minutes now, and then it's just but that's sort of like you don't get that feeling like that like
Get scripted or anything.
yeah like it's a regular conversation. It's like Tarantino on his good days.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's good days. He's good.
Early Tarantino's, yeah.
But I have to say, like, a big shout out to George McKay. I think he was fantastic
Yeah.
in the whole movie. He carried it a lot. And in a way, you felt his emotions when, when Blake died.
Yes, yeah.
And, like, how he had to suck it up, continue to keep going on. And
Yeah.
he felt like, okay, all is lost. And then, like, he kind of redeemed when you're like, oh, we're the battalion that you're looking for.
Yeah. And it's the thing, like you feel his urge as well.
Exactly.
When the truck gets stuck, and he gets out and he starts like yelling orders at everyone, and
Yeah.
just like, come on, like, who are you? Just like climbed in, and then like you could see he was really like he needed to get this done.
And like he kind of took on, like Blake's not only like legacy, but like his determination to see the mission through,
Yeah.
and he like took it upon himself to do it. And I think this movie really, in a way, took me on a journey that could have been very predictable,
Yeah,
but ended up not being.
Yeah.
And it was like a familiarity.
yeah,
And I have to say, like that was for me is fantastic. For me it's a must see, and
definitely.
in cinema.
Yeah, I think you lost a lot of it if you're just like watching on a regular screen,
Yeah.
like even
For sure.
on 60 inches or something. Like you still need like the sound and
Sound,
like
you
it's
need the Dolby Atmos.
yeah.
You need all of
Yeah.
that. So
definitely go
it's
watch it in the
fantastic.
movies. Yeah, go to the theater. All right, I think it's enough for this. So what's your next one?
So the next watch for me is The Gentleman.
Yes, yes. I'm curious to see what Guy Ritchie come up with.
I hope this is Guy Ritchie returning back to his form of old
Snatch,
Snatch,
Lock, Stock. Oh, that's so good.
Multiple lines.
Oh my God.
So
It's been a pleasure.
it has. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for spending this time with us. And join us maybe next week, I
Yeah.
guess, for more B and J at the movies.
Yeah.
Have a good one, guys.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.